Hello, my reading friends. Welcome back to the Jane Austen Literacy Foundation channel. My name is Melissa. I am the community manager, and today I wanted to share with you 5 books that I grabbed from my shelves that scream summertime vibes to me. These are in some way either cover or storyline make me think of summertime. I thought it would be fun to change it up a little bit this time, and I'm going to share with you the first paragraph of the book to kind of let you get a feel for it and see if it's something that you might want to explore for yourself. And these are all historical fiction books. As you might know, in the Jane Austen Literacy Foundation community, we have a book club over there, and once a month we read a historical fiction book. Currently open for voting right now. I'm posting this video for our July pick. And we've had some amazing picks in the past. One of the books that is here in the list today, we are having the author coming to visit us in July. All right, let's get into the books now. The first book, as I was looking through my shelf, is Ravenscliffe. This one, just the outfit alone, makes me feel like summer picnic vibes. I love Edwardian era clothing. It is my favorite time for historical fashion. I have some tops that really make it feel inspired. I think it's hard to, unless you're doing historical costuming, pull off a full Edwardian era outfit, but I would totally rock that. This one says, for fans of Downton Abbey, the peaceful beauty of the English countryside belies the turmoil of forbidden love and the apprehension of a changing world for the families of Netherwood. It's set in 1904. I will open this up here and read to you the first paragraph, let you get a feel for the book. Let me know if you enjoy hearing a bit from the book, or you just like me to read the back blurb. I want to give you the information that you are looking for to help you make the best informed decisions about what to read, because that is what we are here for, encouraging each other to read more. It says, Chapter 1. High on the northern side of the mining town of Netherwood was a wind-blown swath of common land. Not vast, certainly not a wilderness, but wide and varied enough for a person who walked there to feel unfettered and alone. It wasn't much to look at, coarse grass more yellow than green, pocketed of unchecked scrub, spiteful, unruly gags of hawthorn, the occasionally craggy outcrop hinting at a wild and different geology before man farmed the earth or mined it. An ancient Bill of Rights gave the people of the town license to graze their livestock here, but in this community of miners it wasn't much of an advantage. Instead, the grass was kept down by a herd of retired pit ponies, stocky little Shetlands that had survived the rigors of their long underground life and had been given the freedom of the common in return. Once in a blue moon, someone managed to acquire a pig, but the common was unfenced, and while the wary ponies never strayed, pigs seemed driven by curiosity and wanderlust. Even a sturdy pen built by Percy Madlock a few years ago had failed to contain his Tamworth sow. She had rubbed her snout against the latch until it slipped open, and the liberated sow had met an early end on Tumbleturk Lane in a collision with a coach and four. The driver, unseated from the box by the accident, was compensated in pork. He traveled home to York the following day with a fractured collarbone and a bag of loin chops. So hopefully that gives you an idea if Ravenscliffe might be a summer read for you. Right, next is a fairly new acquisition. I found this one at a library sale that I was at, I think it was last month, and I kind of picked it up and put it back down, or picked it up and put it back down. Then I decided to just go for it. Then I realized it kind of makes for an interesting summer read. Summertime, often we're taking trips, and it has the travel, wanderlust sort of vibe to it. And it is Learning to See, a novel of Dorothea Lange, the woman who revealed the real America. And it says, in 1918, 22-year-old Dorothea Nushorn arrived in Bohemian San Francisco, determined to forge her way on her own terms. This book is set amid the turmoil of the Great Depression and the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II. Learning to See follows the life of an ambitious woman and her awakening to art, activism, and what it means to risk everything for love. So it sounds really interesting. I have not read much about photography at all. And this is a time period that I haven't really read as much about either. So it says, Chapter 1. The envelope arrives on one of my good days. From the spot in the kitchen, I hear the mailman's footsteps on the front walk and the click of the mail drops lid. But then the phone rings, distracting me. When I lift the shiny black receiver to my ear, the coolness of it against my skin almost makes me shiver. So you can already see a difference between the two books. The one is a much more flowery and lots of semicolons in its language, and this one is a much shorter first paragraph. All right, the next book that I have is a book by Tracy, Chevalier. She will be coming to speak in our book club for July, which is very exciting. And this book is At the Edge of the Orchard. This one really caught my eye because it is set in Ohio, and that is where I currently live. I have not read much about the state of Ohio. I'm a Michigan girl, but this is set. I've been trying to look for historical fiction books that are set in kind of unique spots in history. I think there's definitely places that we tend to go to the most often for historical fiction, so I'm kind of looking outside of the box a little, and this one caught my eye. It is set in 1838 for it looks like the first section of the book, and then 1853. So we have, I believe, a husband and wife who, it says, settle where their wagon broke down, so that's where they ended up in Ohio. And then in 1853 we see their youngest child, Robert, wandering to the California gold rush. So that seemed interesting, and so I will read to you the first paragraph of this one. It says, they were fighting over apples again. He wanted to grow more eaters to eat. She wanted spitters to drink. It was an argument rehearsed so often that by now they both played their parts perfectly, their words flowing smoothly and monotonous around each other since they had heard them enough times not to have listened anymore. So yeah, this one I think is going to be a fascinating summer read. And then now we're going way different. And the next book is Strangers in the Night. This is a book about Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra. My dad was a huge Frank Sinatra fan, and we listened to his music so much as I was growing up. It is just a part of me, and I listened to it, and now my son is listening to it as well, so that's kind of a bonding thing that we have when we're in the car. But Strangers in the Night, I am really fascinated to see how this is spun into a story. I've started it and I stopped it. I only got a few chapters in a while back, so I need to revisit this one. But the cover kind of just makes me think of like warm summer nights, old Hollywood parties going on until 2 or 3 in the morning or later. And I think this would be a good summer read. Let's explore the first paragraph together, shall we? So this is from the perspective of Frank. Every important moment of my life could be measured in notes and captured by a song. That was never truer than the first night I saw her across the room, belonging to someone else. And that is it for the first paragraph of this book. And next up I have, I forgot to mention, does this ever happen to you? So when I was looking at Learning to See, I noticed it said from the author of The Other Alcott, because I had not heard of Elise Hooper before. Then I realized I have to film for you guys a library haul still, and in my library haul is The Other Alcott. So worlds are colliding. It's really fun to see as you start reading more books that you start making connections between authors and things that jump out at you. All right, and back to the last book is The Seamstress of Sardinia. And if this book does not scream summer in a book cover, I don't know what does. So here in the Midwest, it's often lake vacations that people take. I know if you live closer to the ocean, it's definitely beach vibes, ocean vacations, that sort of thing. But I think anything to do with water, because it's typically, if we're in the northern hemisphere, it is hot in the summertime, and that to me just made this the perfect summer read. It says, a delightfully dramedy of manners, family, romance, and fashion set on the island of Sardinia at the beginning of the 20th century. a dazzling and original literary blend of Jane Austen and Adriana Trigiani. So I think that alone makes it also fascinating to see how they're describing it. And it is set in the year 1900, so another bit of a unique setting there. Let's explore that first paragraph and see. Oops, not to the I was 7 years old when Nona began entrusting me with putting the finishing touches on the garment she sewed at home for her clients, during those periods when she had no jobs that sent her to work in other people's homes. She and I were the only members of the family left alive after the cholera epidemic that had taken from us indiscriminately my parents, my brothers and sisters, and all of my grandmother's other children and grandchildren, my aunts, uncles, and cousins. How the two of us managed to survive, I've never known. It's a very depressing first chapter, but it definitely has my interest peaked. So I would love to know what are some books that are on your summer reading. What book covers scream summer vibes to you, or the concept of the book, the plot points feel like summertime. I don't know if you can hear Lily, my cat that sometimes makes appearances, is being very chatty with the birds that are outside. So you might hear little cat noises going on in the background. I hope that you are having a great month of reading for June. I know for me it has been a little bit of a slower reading month because school is out and things tend to get super busy, but I am still working on my June reading challenge for the month. If you want to join us for Jane Austen July, don't forget to check out the community. I will have that link down below, and you can grab your free prompts for Jane Austen July and join in the fun with that. Even if you can't get to all the reading, there will still be plenty of other fun things that are happening for the month of July in celebrating Jane Austen. And not that there is ever not a good time to celebrate Jane Austen, but July just gives us an extra chance to be celebrating. So I wish you the happiest of reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.